Wake up!
Wake up!
Get up
You get out of bed this instant.
and turn it on. Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman. The Big Show on Kiss 92.
Wake up! If you're not up yet, hey, actually it's only 8:05.
It's okay. It's still early for lots of
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
I mean, hope you're just lying in bed and listening to us. So sexy.
Yeah, and some people might just be getting home as well,
True.
you know, from a late night shift
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever
true.
it is they might be doing.
Yeah.
So have a good
or maybe
sleep.
they're
Let us
hanging out
put
at a KTV lounge last
this
night.
could
or
be
something
true
like
as
that.
well. Yesterday was ladies' night after all. So
There you go. Oh.
Okay, let's welcome Adrian Choo from Korea Agility International. Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning, Glenn, and good morning to all our Kiss 92 listeners out there.
You know, today I'm very confused. This is something new to me. The girls, as in Cheyenne and Shalini, sent us this, that you'd be talking about conscious unbossing. Conscious unbossing. What is that?
consciously not being a boss?
Consciously,
Is that what it is?
Decidedly not wanting to be the boss. Making up your decision. I do not want a management position. So today, I saw this very interesting article. And that's why today we're going to talk about Gen Z.
So you're saying they don't want the responsibility of being a boss? Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
So according to this article which I read, it says that 52% of UK-based Gen Z professionals did not want to take on a middle management position in their career.
Middle management.
Yeah, which means any leadership position. So more than slightly about half. If 52 is about half. They don't want to step up into a leadership management position.
But I completely understand that though,
Why?
because when I was a Gen Zer, I didn't want a managerial position either.
But what was your reason for that?
I just want to enjoy myself. I just, it's too much responsibility at that young age. Like maybe when I'm a bit older. But why are you asking me to be in a leadership position when all of you should be
But what
in
I'm
the
getting,
leadership position
what I'm getting
now,
from Adrian
you
is
older
they're
people.
saying I don't want to be ever.
Ever.
They're saying ever. I just want to stay where I am.
But at that time, I was also thinking,
okay.
I will never want to. But now, decades later, I'm like, okay, if I'm given that responsibility, I would take it now. I think I'm ready now.
The oldest Gen Z is only 27. So
Yeah.
I'm with Glenn because at that age you're kind of like, no, I don't want to be given all that responsibility on my shoulders, and I just want to. I can just take advice, not advice. I can take orders or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I know, when I was that age, I was raring to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, come on, let's drive, let's go get stuff done. Let's, how do I climb the corporate ladder? I mean, I'm in a different place right now where I just want to take my foot off the pedal.
And also the different industries. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I guess like for
Yeah,
us,
our
it's
industry is very,
very
different.
Yeah.
At that
Like-
time, I was more like, I want an office relationship. So if I'm in an office relationship, how
Right.
can I be like a boss, a leader, So let's just,
Stay-
keep it neutral, and
Yeah.
let's just enjoy myself.
I've got to say that in this industry, radio, I have never wanted to do management.
Yeah, because
I'm
your role
happy.
is more individual
I'm
contributor.
Happy. Yeah, it's a different industry.
And
You,
that's,
even if you wanted to, you couldn't, Lefty.
I don't
You're a
think
bit
I could.
soft.
No,
Yeah, I
he
don't-
wouldn't be able to. To be.
I couldn't.
you probably wouldn't enjoy it because
No.
you like being in front of the mic, in front of people. And if you were if you took on a leadership position or management position, that might bring you away from
But
what you love
he is
doing.
a boss though. In his other.
But that's a different industry entirely. I'm talking about radio.
yeah, but I mean,
You know
it's
how many
still-
people he has under him? He's the ultimate boss,
Yeah, never
the
fires
all
anyone.
the other people work for him, He can just be the nice guy and let
Yeah.
all the other bosses be the bad
bad
cops.
people. Bad cops,
He
yeah.
knows me too well.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But why? What's their reason behind not wanting to move into?
And that's why I wanted to find out a bit more by talking about it this morning. And if any of our Gen Z listeners out there, is this true? And I'm wondering, the bigger question, how many Gen Zs actually listen to radio now?
Well, we've got two right here that you
Yes,
can ask
and that's
later.
why we're going to
so-
be asking them, the two Gen Zers in the house, whether or not this is true.
Okay,
Ooh.
all right.
Okay.
Shalini and Cheyenne, you're up next.
All right. You have to be very honest, okay? Okay, Benson Boone is next. This is Cry on Kiss 92.
So one of the reasons quoted was really interesting. The feedback was, they said 69% said mid-level management, the race it's not worth the stress.
The race as
the
in
raise of the
RAC.
money.
Right.
No,
Oh,
the
raise.
Raise in
raise.
salary.
Salary
The raise in
raise.
salary is not worth the stress. So they are saying that you may pay me more, but the stress is there.
Too much.
I'd rather not do it because I focus more on work-life balance,
Yeah.
on
Okay.
enjoying my life more. So I don't know whether this is being very stereotypical or very wrong to.
So if they were paid more, they may do it.
I don't know whether or not that could mean but
Because you say the raise is not,
maybe
it's
the
not worth
perception
it,
of the
right?
raise. I don't know. Maybe just so when someone says that, it either means I want to get paid more or it's not worth my effort. I'd rather not do it. So I don't really know. That's why I'm wondering whether the ladies, the Gen Zers in the house,
Would you do it if you paid the right amount, or you just don't want to do it?
what are your thoughts? Or do you even want to move up?
Shalini, Susan. Wait, before you all say anything, because I know them quite well, right? This is what I think. I think Shalini maybe will say yes, but Cheyenne might say no.
Let's see. Say what you really,
Yeah.
the honest truth.
I actually was gonna say no. Like for me, I try to stay away from leadership positions as much as I can.
Okay, why is that though?
I don't know. I feel like people think that I would be a good leader, like in terms of like from school experience and everything. But I feel like my personality is the type that just wants to chill and follow. Like
okay.
I want to be a follower as
Okay.
much as like maybe I have built or nurtured those abilities, but I feel comfortable following the lead.
Taking orders and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair
And
enough.
what would you be afraid of, let's say, if you were to take up a leadership role?
I don't think I'll be afraid of anything, honestly. Because I feel like when I'm tasked to do something, I'll just go all out with it.
But
if
what
I-
would you have to give up, you feel, if you were to take on that leadership role?
Give up. I mean, as long as I don't have to give up my happiness, I'm okay. So just now when you brought up the whole salary thing, right? It doesn't matter to me. Like even if I was paid like a lot more, like double my pay, and they offer me a leadership position that's gonna like make me more stressed or make me feel less happy, then I still wouldn't take it.
Happiness is very important to Shalini.
Yes.
It's her number one priority.
My shirt says happy juice.
There you go. That's what she's been
juice.
drinking from the Kool-Aid, I'm telling you.
Okay, what about Cheyenne?
If it was like quite a fair bit later to my career and you are paying me more, then I would take it up, I guess. But it would also depend on like what line I was in. I would rather manage people than. Yeah, I think at some point I would rather manage people and manage those kinds of relationships more.
Wow,
I mean, you
I
say
was wrong.
later,
It's
the
just
opposite. Later in your career, meaning how many years from now? I mean, if you could foresee the future.
No idea.
Okay.
It's very interesting, yeah, because Maul straight away came onto our Facebook page and said, some people excel as individual contributors, but not as managers. People management is a totally different skill set. Been there, done that.
Yeah, and many people can't do it.
And some
Yeah.
people, like I said, some people can work very well on their own, and some people work very good in a group and managing a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some people are absolutely useless on their own, but fantastic leaders.
Yeah.
Because their
Yeah.
skill is more about rallying people, getting them to charge up the hill.
I once had someone who was offered management and said no.
There's Shalini.
Because this was in a sales capacity, yeah. Because I lose money.
The commissions.
I lose money when I become management.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Because there's only one pay.
There's one pay. There's no commission,
Commission,
variable.
yeah.
You see.
Yeah.
So that may be another reason why some of these young ones who are trying to build their finances and build their financial future don't necessarily want to go into management.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. And what's interesting is to note this. The survey says 1 in 2 Gen Zers would not take a management position. And in the studio here, it's exactly 1 in 2. So it's
Yeah.
very-
Right,
That's
yeah,
true.
very accurate.
And I'm amazed because, and I'm wondering what the reasons are. And some of the reasons that was suggested was because of work-life balance. That Gen Zers tend to value the work-life balance more than those of us who are maybe X's or Y.
The life-work balance.
Yeah, the life-work balance rather than the work-life balance. So, and I think that has valid points. And then if you drill further down and ask why is it that Gen Zers are valuing work-life balance, life-work balance more, some of the reasons that I have read and uncovered, and how true it is, I don't know. But they're saying, number one, Gen Zers have it a bit luckier because their parents are still, covering a lot of the
Working, yeah.
costs. They're working, so they don't have to rush out to buy get married, move out, and everything. So that's one. The other reason possibly also is that they're a bit too sheltered. That's what the common literature suggests. So I don't know whether or not anyone else.
I don't know because I feel like every generation has that perception of the next generation.
That's true.
Our parents would have said, "Oh, you're too spoiled.
You're too soft."
Y'all don't know what it's like to work hard and blah blah blah." And we lived with our parents to X years, and we were sheltered for a long time as well. So I feel like every generation says that, and now it's our turn to say, they don't know what they're doing.
I think something is wrong somewhere. I think some Gen Zers have given up. They've given up on owning a home. They've given up on buying a car.
Yeah.
They've given up on
Coming up for traffic. Speaking
coming
of
up
car,
for traffic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kiss 92 traffic.
on the SLE towards the BKE, right after the TPE entrance, look out for a vehicle that's broken down. Also on the AYE, another broken down vehicle towards the MCE, right before the Tuas West Road exit. Wherever you are this morning, please stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is the CEO and founder at Career Agility International, Mr. Adrian Choo. And once again, we're talking about our Gen Zers. Are they too sheltered? Are they driven enough? And that's why we're talking about conscious unbossing this morning.
So earlier you were talking, Glenn, on the Big Show TV about how Gen Zers these days don't seem to want to own a car, want
They've
to own
given
a
up.
home. They've given up. I think our society has become a more shared society. So in terms of renting homes, they would rather rent homes than buy a home. They would rather use car sharing than own their own car. Because with car sharing, I have a driver that picks me up every day. I don't have to worry about parking, about fuel, about maintenance. I can drink as much as I want and someone's going to come pick me up.
Yeah.
I can carpool. I can grab share. So why do I want the responsibility of keeping home, keeping a car, paying conservancy fees? So a lot of people, it's a very shared economy now. So I feel that's the changing landscape of the Gen Zers.
I agree with you with the other things except the home.
Okay.
I think in terms of the home, they do want to own their own home. But they're finding it a little bit, number
reach.
one,
Unattainable.
you know why? Because they're being forced, for example, right,
Yeah.
to get married.
Yes.
And that may not necessarily be what they want. And so as a result of that, I'm not going to take that opportunity, which was created for me as my nest egg. The very first thing that I should be doing is getting married and applying for an HDB flat.
And your birthright as
Right?
well, yeah.
But with that condition that I'm not willing to compromise, because I don't want to
Get
get married,
married,
for
yeah.
example, then I forgo that. And as a result of foregoing that, I cannot afford
Anything else.
my home.
Yeah.
Now, I can't afford to buy my home.
Unless
And
you're over
therefore-
35 years old and then
Yeah.
you wait as a single and then you buy something that you don't want.
Yeah.
And by
know?
that time, when time rolls around, it's so expensive because it keeps going up.
It keeps
every year,
moving
right?
up. Yeah.
So I think that's very troubling. I feel
Yeah,
like that's,
it
that's,
is.
that's troubling.
It is, absolutely. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear from the girls. Do you see yourselves owning a home anytime soon?
I mean, I would love to, but given the prices these days, I don't even know if I can.
And you don't want to get married just to own a home, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay.
Cheyenne?
I mean, personally, for me, I don't want to get married, so it's like, okay, might as well just wait until I'm 35 because
There
I
you
don't
go,
see
yeah.
myself being able to buy a condo at this age either.
Right.
So
Okay,
Yeah.
Yep, that's an issue.
it is.
And what Cheyenne just said is interesting as well because I have a lot of friends with Gen Z daughters or even Gen Alpha.
Alphas, yeah.
children who say I don't want to get married. Yeah. So it's also a phenomenon. Whether or not they do ultimately is a different story. But that's also, I think, reflects. It will have repercussions. We're already having such low birth rates.
And aging population.
And an aging
Yeah.
population. But I think, why Gen Z. I have a theory about why Gen Z thinks and behaves in a way which they value life-work balance more than the hard work itself, is because I think they grew up in their formative years through COVID. 3 years, 4 years of COVID, where a lot of people realized that, why am I working so hard for? They looked around and it's just tough to the point where I think COVID was a point where a lot of us, not just Gen Zers, realized that there's more to life than just work. Because if work's taken away and everything and you got nothing else to enjoy, what's there? So
Yeah.
And a lot of them realized that I don't have to go into the office to work. I can work from home. Right? That's why when they all came out of it, they were like, okay, so let me look at this interview. How many days do I really need to be in the
that's right.
office,
That's right.
We've got a message on our Facebook page from Paul David. It's a quick message in regard to Angel's comment on shared economy. I think Paul may be a Gen Zer, I'm not sure. He says, if the cost of living were more affordable, he says, because he disagrees with you, he said, I would definitely prefer to own a home and a car. It's just about what it costs.
Right.
Fair enough.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Adrian on the Big Show TV. It's 8:22.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by...
There's a very unpopular thing I'm going to say. If you want to own a car, affordable car, and affordable house, do what my cousins did, move to Australia.
You're in the wrong country.
It's so sad, sad for
Yeah.
me, because they and I know they're listening into this show. Okay, those guys. One of my cousins bought a Mazda 3, and she just had to send me the picture.
$20,000.
Yeah, it's cheaper than your COE.
Are you serious?
Yeah, of
It's
course.
$20,000.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
20,000.
20-ish, and it's like,
It's like, wait, hold on, let me see what I have in my pocket.
And you can keep it for 30 years.
Yeah,
They don't care.
They don't care. And
Yeah.
it's great condition. And recently there was this photograph of this guy who had to give up his car for the COE renewal, and he was like in tears and crying. It's so sad because the car he loved his car.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
in really good condition, and you got to scrap it. It's actually not environmentally friendly if you think about it. So,
$20,000. Brand new.
25. Yeah. This was some time back,
It's like,
but it's
what?
about there.
Yeah.
It's about
I
there.
could have
Mazda 3.
20. I could
That
have
was a
20.
Mazda 3.
I could have 20 Mazdas.
Yeah.
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 Literally.
I mean, if you wanted a Mazda, sure.
yeah.
Or you could have two Ferraris. Or
Buy 20 Mazdas and start a what do you call
Car dealership.
A private hire
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
company.
It's called Glenn's Rides.
What the?
Yeah.
20,000?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Crazy.
So it's different strokes for different folks, I guess. But it is true. But one thing I want to share as well is that when I started out back in, I sound like an uncle, back in the 90s, when I first started out, flats were also kind of out of reach in those days as well. Because if you wanted a 5-room HDB flat on the resale, it was about 400,000-ish, 500. Because that was the time when it was going up as well. So I was sitting down as a fresh graduate. I was going like, wow, everything's unattainable. So I just want to encourage all our Gen Z listeners out there that just press on. It is attainable if you just keep pressing on. It's
Yeah, don't be discouraged.
don't be discouraged. It's okay. Everything's gonna turn out fine in the end because we're in Singapore. Everything's gonna be good. So it's painful. The grind is gonna be there. The grind has always been there. Just make sure that you don't get too stressed out over it, I think.
Yeah, I think
Live with your parents for as long as you can.
You
Oh,
can,
yeah.
and where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes.
I do
Yes.
believe that.
Yeah.
I do believe that.
But if you decide to go for an HDB flat and everything, join the queue for 4 to 5 years, I think it's still affordable. It's only if you want to jumpstart and get a condo right now.
I think the situation is not so much maybe now the buying the flat. It's the I don't want to get married.
I don't want to get married. That's the biggest.
You know what I mean? And the Gen Zers are only, like I looked it up, the maximum age they are now is 27. So the oldest will have to wait another 8 years before they hit 35.
Yeah.
I
you know?
got married at 26.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was quite young.
Very young. Yeah.
At that time, it was young, but that time it was about the right age.
28 was supposed to be the right age.
Was it?
Supposed to be.
In those days, yeah. Got married at 26.
No. If you could do it all over again, what age would you get married at? Never.
Ouch.
Perhaps. Yeah. I mean, it's just a piece of paper, right?
To some.
Yeah.
To some.
Yeah, but anyway, back to our
Yeah.
conscious unbossing.
So I think it's for the various reasons why Gen Zers are not asking to get promoted. So 60% said that they did not want to get a managerial role, and when they compared it to those workers in their 40s, the number actually went up. 72 to 74% actually said, I don't want to get promoted either. So it's quite universal nowadays that the work-life balance is coming into play. And I know individuals. I was coaching a senior leader the other day, and he asked me, Adrian, is it okay if I turn down this promotion? Because I don't want the additional stress and responsibility.
So people don't want the responsibility. That's what it is.
Yeah, and
Is
interesting
it because they don't know how to supervise or what?
I don't
No,
think so.
they're already in a supervisory role.
Yeah, but there's so many supervisors who are in supervisory roles, but then they are taking on the, because their workers are useless, for example. You know what I mean?
Sometimes, yeah.
And they don't have the heart to, to fire these people and get really capable people. I think, the key is to get capable people working under you. Then you don't have to do so much.
True. But sometimes, like what you mentioned, you inherit the people.
Inherit? No, there's no. If I inherit someone I don't like, out you go.
You're out of the will.
Yeah, you gotta fit my style, right? Everyone's
Clean
gotta be
up.
on the same page.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's so interesting to see young people who don't want to take on managerial roles. Young people who, and I'm not putting young people down, I completely understand it. Young people who think differently from older people who are in management, who have a degree of conflict with older people who are in management. But if you're not going to step up to management, you're continuously going to be under those older people.
Yeah, that's
so your work
That's
life
true.
is not going to be happy.
That's a good point. You want to make a change, you need to step
You
up.
you need to
up.
step
Yeah.
up.
Then you
Yeah.
can get rid of all the old people.
No, which is true because eventually it'll be phased out, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
sorry to say they're like products.
It's true.
The
But
older
it's
people will
true.
get phased
Because
out.
there are
and the
some
young
older
people-
ones who are really irritating.
Yeah.
Who refuse to work with
Younger people.
the
Yes.
Gen Zers
No, but
and
vice
the younger
versa
ones.
as well. Some younger people don't want to work with older people as
But
well.
if you
know,
don't
it's both
step up,
ways.
you're stuck with them.
You're stuck. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is a strange predicament, isn't
How,
it?
Adrian?
I think as Gen Z, okay, let's rewind. Maybe about 10, 15 years ago, the Gen Xers were making the same complaints about the Gen Y.
I told you.
Right? Yeah.
It happens.
Gen Y, but Gen Y stepped up. And right now, they are getting their comeuppance by having to manage Gen Z.
I think it's all about respect. Look, if there's mutual respect, there will be no issue.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
problems arise when one side doesn't respect the other side. Then there's hatred, there's
Misunderstanding.
Animosity,
Yeah.
yeah.
Animosity.
Yeah.
But if everyone can feel like they're being respected for who they are, for their experience, or
And opinions.
drive, because
Yeah.
the younger ones can be very driven sometimes, but may not have experience. But if everyone can respect everyone around them, then it'll be much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Then there'll be world peace.
Exactly. I think I was gonna say I think that should be just across the board, right? And not just in your workplace, everywhere. If everyone just respected everybody else, then we'll all be better off.
Yeah.
But just be objective, with
Open open to ideas,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
but not be biased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So I think personally for me, I think it's a worrying sign if Gen Z doesn't step up to take on leadership roles, because then the organization will have a leadership gap. Because when it moves up in 10 years from now, then there are no strong leaders to take over. But on the flip side of it, even though 52% may say I do not want to take a leadership role, the 48% who say I want to, I think they have got it made, because they are in an environment where no one else wants to step up. I'm going to step up, and I think therefore, if you do decide to step up, if you're Gen Z, I think you're going to have an edge over everyone else.
Right.
Does it really show in the market 50%? Like that do and 50% that don't
Well,
from your experience?
The research says so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't work with enough Gen
Okay.
Zers to do. So I would love to have feedback from our listeners
Yeah.
out there, whether or not it's...
Whether they see that.
I think the solution to me is treat them as leaders, let them feel like they're leaders, but not give them that fixed leadership role. I'm sure they want to contribute,
Yeah.
but they want to contribute in a more flexible way.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
sure they're bubbling over with ideas
And there
all
are
that.
many ways to, to reward them for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, anyway, traffic.
This is being awesome.
Is that your grandma's coat?
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the KJE towards the PIE, a vehicle's broken down right after the BKE entrance. Also on the PIE heading west towards Tuas after Thompson Road's exit. Please avoid lane 4 because of a broken down vehicle. And finally on Upper East Coast Road towards the city, this is after Bayshore Road. Avoid the left lane because an accident is taking up some space. Wherever you are this morning, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Adrian Choo from Career Agility International. If you would like to get in touch with Adrian, it's info@careeragility.org. Talking about conscious unbossing this morning.
So interesting comments coming through on our Facebook page. Matthew Lee says, many people don't want to go into management because they don't want to lose or leave the ground. Some people don't like, some people like doing the groundwork and find it meaningful. And once you reach management, you're not on the ground anymore. And maybe that's a reason for it. Another person has come across and said, maybe they don't want management roles because as you climb management, the more involved in company politics you become.
That too, yeah.
So those may be reasons.
All valid reasons.
Yeah.
All valid reasons. And I also want to float this idea out there that you don't need to get promoted into a management role for you to progress your career. In a sense that, you can deepen your skills, you can be an expert, you can be a more effective individual contributor and still progress your career in a direction. So it doesn't mean that I need to take my boss's job in order for your career to move to the next level.
So
Just
go sideways?
Go sideways, do get deeper, become the subject matter expert in that space. And if leadership and people management is not for you, I think it's okay. Quick example, I can lead teams, but I don't like leading teams. So I'm good at it, but I don't like it. So why should I take on a role, even if you pay me more, to handle bigger teams? And it's like, people arguing with each other, there's politics, why
But
he
you're
taking so
capable.
many MC? I can, but it's painful and I don't want to do it, So that's why if I have to hire, I hire people who are autonomous on their own. Like I think FDU has lots of experience with that, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to hire a bunch of school kid type teacher kind of thing. It's just
you
annoying.
want people who can stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's okay to not step up into a management role to progress your career. So and sometimes it's difficult to step into a management role because, like what we said, 72% of 40 and above do not want to progress their career upwards and take higher management roles. Therefore, they're going to stay there. And if I'm a Gen Zer, I'll have
There's
fewer opportunities to move
nowhere
up
to
as well.
move
So there's
into,
a lock jam. So if that's the case, then don't feel frustrated. Find other ways to deepen your skill set, deepen your expertise, and progress your career in other ways. So don't have to feel too frustrated. I think it's okay. Ultimately, I feel, it's to each their own. If at this stage in my life, I'm enjoying it so much that I don't want to go out and fight for that promotion. It's okay. It's okay. But do realize that I think in the longer run, you need to scale up your salary as well. And one of the ways to scale up your salary is to
Move
take
up.
on, is to move up.
Yeah.
You know what? I see the next career agility seminar coming up.
For the Gen Zers,
For the Gen
maybe?
Zers.
Yeah.
I think we should design something for the Gen
Oh, yeah.
Zers.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of Gen Zers right here at the SPH auditorium.
Absolutely.
How about that? Adrian, let's work on this.
No, I think that a good start to that sort of thing is to hold sort of a forum session. Kind of everybody's brainwashing and jumping in and kind of brainwashing. Did I say brainwashing?
Brainwashing.
Brainstorming. Yeah, but you could brainwash at the same time if you want. But everyone just kind of getting together and huddling and seeing
Yeah.
what their ideas are and
Hey,
why they're
anything to
frustrated.
help our economy, man, because the
sure.
Gen Zers are our future.
They are,
True.
yeah.
We have to make them, get to that level where they're a bit more driven,
And you
so
need
that
some
they
of-
can drive our economy and not be like the New Zealand economy.
Oh, stop
But
it.
I think
Are
it's
you going
very
back to
important that the older worker understands that they have to rally behind the younger worker.
Right.
It's so important.
But also, you get the millennials in there because they're the ones having the alpha kids. So you need them also to prep their children on how the Gen Zers are gonna move forward, so that they can also move in eventually.
Yeah.
So it's a cycle.
How, Adrian? Let's go.
Let's
Let's
do it.
do it. Yeah.
Let's
We've
do
got a
it
few months,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
to plan. I mean,
for the new year. Kick off the
Yep.
new
Yeah,
year.
like we did a big one earlier this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was very
That'll be fun.
successful.
Yeah, that was good.
Let's do another.
and why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
excited.
that's cool. 10%
Okay,
for me, please.
I've got a
Thanks.
question for Adrian in a bit.
Okay, meantime, here's Charlie XCX featuring Ariana Grande. Sympathy is a Knife on Kiss 92. That'll be fun. Huh?
Yeah, I
It
think
would
so.
be.
Yeah.
It would be. So, Adrian, I've got a question for you. With the economy the way it is, staying where I am and not going into management, or stepping up and going into management, where's the job security? Which one?
It depends on what area you are. Because if you are a project manager and you decide to stay a project manager for the longest time, when you're 28, you're managing projects. When you're 36, you're not stepping up managing a team. You're still managing projects. And then when you're 45, you're still managing projects. People are going to start looking at you and going, can I get a younger, cheaper, faster? So you're not evolving. So I think it depends. If you're evolving as a project manager, you're managing bigger projects, maybe not bigger teams, but more complex, multi-region. I think it's all a story about growth. And for as long as you're growing, I think the security is much better than if you're not growing, or worse still, if you're regressing.
Yeah, but there's a way to grow. Like if you were managing one team of 10, then you can start managing the heads of two teams with 10. Then you're only
Yeah.
managing two people.
Yeah.
Because they are then managing
Yes,
the 10s,
correct.
right? So you move up the pyramid.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned the word scaling.
Yeah.
I know people talk about scaling. I want to scale my business. I want to scale the operations. But in this case, how do you scale yourself? How do you scale your salary up? And the way to scale your salary up is, unfortunately, either to take on a bigger team, take on a bigger portfolio, take on a bigger region. That also means that it's taking on a managerial position. So you can be, but some jobs are suited for individual contributors like doctors,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, or lawyers, right? You just manage your field or your practice.
I say the key to success is delegation. Just get everybody else to do it for you.
That'd be
And
bad.
then, because when you move higher, you start to delegate different
Yeah.
responsibilities
that's
to
how you-
different people,
And
right?
that's how you scale your time as well, right?
Without being stressed out, overly stressed, because you start getting other people to do the other things
Yeah.
and break up the work.
Yeah, but once again, to FD's point, as long as you're bringing on good people to delegate to, then it's okay. Because if you bring in people who aren't so good and you delegate to them, I think it's more headaches.
But good stuff is so
More
hard to
stress,
find, though.
But I always
Very
feel like
true.
everyone has their strong points, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I always say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you identify their strong points, you can still use them to the advantage of whatever you're working
Different ways,
on.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Different-
because sometimes people are just in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
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 Just unless, of course, I mean, they have absolutely no strengths whatsoever that's relevant to what you want for, whatever you're doing, right? But I do believe that everyone has something that they're really strong at that will be able to help you out.
Yeah, and I like what Angel said. Sometimes you're just stuck. And it may not be your fault, just that, it's just a situational thing. And the big thing is, how do you unstuck yourself? For me, whenever I'm stuck, I listen to U2's Stuck in the Moment.
Oh,
Ah,
Yeah, you
Stuck
know?
in a moment you can't get out of.
Yeah, correct. And for me, that's one of my theme songs. Whenever I'm stuck, I take a step back, I listen to it, and I remember back to the days where I got stuck and I unstuck myself.
But sometimes you need the employer, your boss, to see that you don't belong there. You know what I mean? You need some
Yeah.
sort of guidance, a mentor, whatever
Yeah.
it might be,
Yeah.
to say, okay, let's move you somewhere, like Glenn said, somewhere else where your strengths
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
thrive.
you're right. You're right. And sometimes it's just the environment.
Nobody sees it. Yeah.
You know, the culture in the workplace may be so toxic that if you transplanted this person out to another environment, they will thrive. I've been in toxic environments before,
Yeah.
failed to thrive,
yeah.
and it wasn't me. It was just the environment. It's like putting a freshwater fish into a saltwater
Salt,
tank,
yeah.
right? It just couldn't take it. I would die if I was in there. I had to extricate myself into a happier, nicer environment, and I thrived. So I think it's okay. So if you are hesitant to take on a leadership role, I think if you feel it's not your season yet or not your time, I think it's okay. But if you want to scale your salary and scale your capabilities and scale your job security, I think you might have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might be left behind.
Would the organization, I beg your pardon, give the Gen Zers an opportunity to try out the leadership role? And if they feel like it doesn't suit them, they're able to go back to what they were doing.
I think good organizations do. They do. And I think because they are we call them the talent pipeline. Gen Zers are the talent pipeline for the future. And if you're not, so give you a quick story. In the 90s and 2000, a lot of big companies were hiring fresh graduates right off of uni because they wanted to thicken their talent pipeline. So companies like my old company, we would hire dozens and dozens of really talented fresh graduates. But 97 came around, 98 came around. That was during the Asian financial crisis. The companies took a foot off the pedal and said, we're going to stop hiring these Gen Zers of today, basically the young one, that age group. They took the foot off the pedal. And then when it happened after 98, 99, and then 2000 was the dot-com crisis.
Yeah.
And then 2001 was the 911. And then 2003 was SARS. So during that period of crisis from 98 to 2003, the graduate hiring lessened. And then when the market picked up again down the road in 2010, what they found out was we don't have anyone in the early 30s that we've groomed. We don't have enough of a talent pipeline. So that's why companies need to focus. If I want to grow 10 years down the road, I need to start grooming this.
Forward thinking.
Yeah. It's not just about right now, the economy is not doing well, so I'm not going to promote anyone. I'm not going to hire the younger ones. I'm not going to give them responsibilities. You can't do that.
I mean, I understand the idea of grooming someone to go into management, but Glenn's idea of letting someone try, no, I'm going to come back down. Doesn't that make that person look like a failure in that role?
No, why?
I wouldn't say come back down,
Go back
because
to
you
what
are.
bad. It's,
No,
You
no,
are.
he's saying go back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
In the infrastructure, you are.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
going from here to management, and then you're coming back down to here.
But see what I mean?
But that's
what I mean, because
that's what probation is for, right?
but-
you
but-
go into a role just to see if you can
Yeah.
manage it. That's what probation is, isn't it?
But you see, we're talking about the younger ones
Yeah.
and the older
Yeah.
ones. Everybody belongs to the
older
most
group.
senior group, right? And that's his perception.
Now, do the young?
I-
my question
I
is: Do
don't
the
think
young?
I get
what you-
do the
I get what you
young
say.
feel that way?
Well, I think
wonder.
it once again depends on the culture.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's talk about this on air.
We were just creatures in heaven. Creatures in heaven. Back then we were just creatures in heaven. We were just creatures in heaven.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the AYE towards the MCE, look out for a broken down vehicle after Yuanqing entrance. And on the BKE towards Woodlands after the SLE exit, another vehicle's broken down. If you spot anything else, our number 8855
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today and every Thursday is Adrian Choo, CEO and founder at Career Agility International.
So I was talking about this thing that Glenn brought up of having Gen Zers try management don't like it, can't do it, go back to what they were doing. And Glenn, you're right. As an older person, I see that as a step down. I wonder whether the Gen Zers feel that as a step down, which is why they don't want to come up, in case they can't do it and they have to come back down.
But they're not.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they're not given the opportunity as what Glenn described. Theirs is only step, in the general terms, theirs is only step up, and either you thrive or you don't, right? But this, what Glenn is saying, is testing ground.
Yeah, exactly.
To see
So
if you like, I don't see it as failing. I see it as learning. You know.
So do I. So I understand where you're coming from, but within the organization, is it seen as a failure?
But
Because
I guess
I went up there and I couldn't do it.
I guess
That's
it
the
depends
language.
on the narrative of the organization, like how they
Yeah.
Is that what
put
it
it
is?
out there. You
And
know?
and the culture of the leadership team as well. That's why I'm always a big fan of individuals, no matter what level you are, taking on special projects, short-term special projects, and then you get a feel of it, whether you like leading a bigger team or whether you like working with other people or trying something different, or even drive promotions for that matter. Because if I take on additional responsibility, I'm not getting promoted, and if I decide not to take it anymore, no one's going to say, oh, you didn't. Because
So
I
that's a
wasn't
nice
promoted in
way
the
to
first
put
place.
it. You know.
So I wasn't promoted in the first place.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't-
no,
I just
a nice way to put it is drive a
Drive-
certain project.
Yes.
And then we see how you thrive, but you don't tell them, let's see how you thrive.
Exactly.
Let's get you to
Yeah.
run that project, and if you
Yeah.
really, really excel, then you're ready.
Yeah. Then in the language of work, that's a little better.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't really know what you like or you're good at until you try it.
Yeah.
Until you really try it. That's why we always encourage our clients to get out of their comfort zones and try something different. What's the worst that could happen? Crash and burn. And, and you say, I don't like
Crash and learn.
that. Crash and learn. Yeah, crash and
and
learn.
learn.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's it. No, try and move on to something else. And if you keep experimenting, you're going to find something you like sooner or later.
Yeah.
Experimentation.
Who has the time anymore?
Okay, I think we've run out of time.
Already?
We have. Wow, we've been at it for 47 minutes now.
Yeah,
You know, it
amazing.
doesn't quite feel like it. Although someone who's listening in right now might disagree.
It's like, oh my goodness, thank goodness they're done.
Okay, any last words before you go?
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yay.
Charge up, one more sleep to the weekend and chill out. Enjoy yourself before the year's gonna end soon. As well.
60 odd
man.
days.
Yeah, 60 odd days, 50 odd days to Christmas.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and
2 weeks to perhaps the new president of the United States of America.
13 days. Yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a fun show.
Wow, I know that is a
I'll be
show,
up,
man. That's
yeah.
happening right now. It's so entertaining.
And you know what? One more week to Deepavali. We have a holiday next week.
Right.
Deepavali is
We
next
do,
week?
Yes.
I knew that.
So
I'm
for
just
all
kidding.
those
Of course I-
celebrating and
far-
and prepping, it's only 1 week away.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for all our listeners out there, try to get Friday off.
Oh, that's right. We won't see you next Thursday
It's a-
because it's a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
I'm so
see you
sad.
2
I'm
weeks
gonna
from
miss you
now.
guys.
Yeah, right.
He's like, thank goodness I'm not coming in this week.
Got a week off.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Adrian, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Pleasure always.
All right. Coming up very, very soon, headline news and sports.
Wake up.
Glenn